Greetings. I am Dr. Karine Melissa. I'm the president of the Women's Chamber of Commerce of Miami-Dade County, and I'm so excited to be here this afternoon. We have such an amazing guest, someone who probably doesn't even know how much I watch her and how much she speaks into my life on a regular basis just from her social media. So I knew today when I wanted to talk about women in the financial area, I knew exactly who to call. So today I introduce you to my friend, Karine Sanchez. She is the founder of Financially Savvy Women. Karine, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And I mean, you are such an inspiration to me. So, just you and all the events that you put together, I don't know how you do it. I always tell you, I want to go to something and I can't keep up. You're amazing.
On, right?
You're a lot going on. And you make it look so easy.
Thank you so much for that. We know exactly how we do it. God is the only way through everything, anything.
Yes, absolutely. So, amen.
I'm so thankful to have you here today. There's so much to talk about when it comes to money.
Yeah.
Because I know growing up, I didn't necessarily have all the tools that I needed to be financially savvy.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, I love the name of your organization, Financially Savvy Women. I feel like you can walk in that room and everybody's invested and got, money in savings or money markets and just walk into a room of with a healthy financial atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so I love that about your organization. So let's get into some questions and some thoughts that can help our listeners today.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first question is, what financial habits has made the biggest impact on your stability or growth this year? And how do you adopt that into your lifestyle?
Absolutely. I'm always going to go to something that not necessarily has to do anything with finances or money, but it's self-development. I think that as you self-development, you stretch your vision, right? Because sometimes all we know is all we know. But if we continue to grow, and look at the things that you like, especially if you want to grow in the money area. I always said when I was younger, I'm not a money person. I'm not a money person, I'm not a numbers person. But the truth is that that's just a mindset. Who put that title onto us? So I think that the more that you self-develop, the more that you start learning, it stretches your vision and you can, get to your next level.
I like that. So as you were talking, I started to think about how much does your parents' mindset about money impact how you think about money? Because I'm thinking about growing up, right?
Oh, yes.
That's on how much I do those things and don't even know it. So how much does that impact?
Well, they always say your kids don't do what you say, but they do what they see, right? And I always say, I think I was kind of like the third parent in the house because I grew up in a family of immigrants. My parents were very much entrepreneurial, but I was always in the conversations with the money talks because I'm the one that spoke English. So I would have to translate, late bills. We're about to get foreclosed on. I mean, the business is going down.
So
I learned this.
Everything happening in your house. Like that.
I'm talking about 10, 12 years old, 13 years old. I remember one of the first things that I helped my parents with was getting out of a contract, which was a rent to buy or a lease to buy home that, it ended up, not going that route. But again, just like translating and, just seeing a lot of those things, sometimes you don't realize that you have a lot of financial trauma. You do pick up a lot of those habits. Now thank God today, my parents are doing great, but like anybody that moves to this country, you're trying to figure out the system over here. And, they went through a lot of financial ups and downs. I'm so grateful for that though, because I think that's what allows me to have empathy with, so many people and their financial situation. So, but, again, it is that reading, learning, being intentional about what your goals are and understanding that what is very limited and what you saw, that does not have to be your story. So you definitely have to educate yourself and remove yourself from that because we will pick up those habits. It's hard not to.
Yeah. So is that the foundation or like the core of how you feel about why you started your company?
I want to say yes. So my husband and I, we've been in business, financial advisors since it's been now 15 years. But Financially Savvy Women Community started last year, the end of last year. God just really put this in my heart that if you know these things, why are you not teaching other women, these things? The money conversation, people will tell you anything and everything, but they will not talk about money.
No.
And so you might have done something that helped you maybe eliminate your debt. You might have done something about finding out maybe what's the right type of life insurance or investment, but you won't have that conversation with someone else because somewhere in there is attached how now this helps you because before you weren't doing that good or whatnot. Or maybe if you're not doing good, you don't want to share that. Like we're all judged. Yeah,
there's like a shame thing there,
it's like
right?
a shame. We're all judged in the money game, but nobody ever taught us the rules of the money game. Right? So I'm like, if this is information that I know, I need to share it. And that's why, I love what you said about the financially savvy women community, because when you're in this room and you're networking and you're talking to these women, everybody's sharing. Like, I used to do this, now I do this. And I mean, that's how we can empower each other.
Yeah, if it really feels like a safe space to share.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. When it comes to, so the mindset of money we talked about, right? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to your parents and then why you started this organization, what are the financial goals that you're committed to this year, like say within the next 12 months that you want to conquer, accomplish? And also, how do you challenge, or what are the things that you challenge your community to do financially?
Yeah. So, one of the things, look, everybody says, education, knowledge is power. But I believe that that's not true. Applied knowledge is power.
Applied knowledge. Because you can know it.
You can know it, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, and especially in the world today of ChatGPT and knowing everything, my husband really, told me this earlier. I think it was like last week, and I thought it was so good. He said, tomorrow's currency is not even about information. We have way too much information. It's more about, application and actually applying these things. So, I always share with the women, look, you come to these workshops. We do these bi-monthly workshops where we talk about all of these things. Our next one is actually about credit and debt elimination. Mm-hmm. The last one was all about investing. But if you don't go and apply this and actually get out of your way so you could become your next level, the next level of you, and nothing's going to happen, right?
Because I was going to ask you, like, to the woman who is a bit shameful about her finances, she just has not gotten it right. And she doesn't have a lot of money to invest big and, really change, or maybe she doesn't know how to change, right? Like, what do you say to that woman who's just so scared about sharing with anyone about her finances? Yeah.
Well, look, one of the biggest things is we have to have grace with ourselves. And we have to know that whatever situation we're on, like, we can't continue blaming that, because then that it's like a crutch that we're like, well, I haven't done it because of this. Okay, but we have to do something about it. And you have to start little by little, like make it one step, like, this month, my goal is going to be to learn about interest rates and what interest rates I'm paying on my credit cards. Let's just start there, right? Because we have to have a snapshot of where we're at. We have to see. You cannot change anything until you first accept where you are, accept the situation. So if you were going to look at your numbers, I would say, okay, well, I'm going to start with one thing. Let me look at what are the interest rates. So let me take down all my credit cards. Let me write them down. What is my balance? And now I want to write down what are the interest rates that I'm paying. You will see that most credit cards, the majority interest rate is north of 25%. It's scary. So if you just do that much and you use the power of compound interest and you divide that, there's a rule called the rule of 72, and you divide that 72 divided by the number of the interest rate of that credit card, it's going to give you the number of years that it's going to take for that debt to double. So just seeing that, if you're like, wait a minute, this $6,000 is going to be $12,000 in the next 3 years, that's going to make you want to do something. And that's it. Just do that one thing. I'm just giving you one example. You could do something else, but just being intentional. And, I always say you have to apply that knowledge, right? Do a little something. And with that, you're going to start feeling confident and being convicted about what you're doing and, eventually get yourself out of there. When it comes to, you also said about investing. Investing is something that a lot of the times we think it has to be a lot of money.
Yes.
You can start investing with as little as $50.
What?
You can start investing, mutual funds, investments. I wouldn't tell you, hey, if that's all the money that you have, I wouldn't say, okay, go put that in an investment account, right? There's different strategies and it's all based on the person. But a rule of thumb would be if you had $100, I would tell you to take 50 of those dollars and put it into an emergency account. Experts show that you should have at least 3 to 6 months to build your emergency account in case something happens. We never know what's going to happen, right? The other $50, I would divide those in two. So I would put $25 in a short-term savings account, something that at least beats inflation. So we're talking about 3, 4, 5%. We're talking about a money market account. And then the last $25, the last bucket, I would start that with my retirement account, money that I know I'm not going to use until later. Now you might say, well, $25, what is that going to do, right? It's not about the $25. It's about the habit.
Oh, okay.
About the habit. Right now it's $25. Next year it could be $250. Like, you don't know. It could be a lot more, right?
It's just starting this habit.
It's just started. And one of the most powerful things that you can do is automate your financial life. Just have that money automated. Like I said, if you have $100, have 50 go to your emergency account and then 25 your short term and the other 25 to your long-term investments. And later on, you can add a lot more. If you get a bonus at the end of the year, you can allocate it there, whatever you want to do. But automate it and, set it and forget it.
It's so good to hear you say about it's okay to put in $25. It is okay because the main thing is the discipline.
Yeah.
Right? And creating that habit of taking good care of your money.
Yeah.
What are some things that you would tell your younger self about finances as you got into your 20s, 30s?
Yeah. So I think I always go back to self-development. I think that has to be, I'm a college graduate. My degree is in psychology. I love developing people and working with people. But I would say when it comes to finances, so I don't know why I didn't know this was even a thing, but when I was in my 20s, I used to do an envelope system. So when I started working very early because I was part of the color guard, I was part of track, but my parents couldn't afford that. They were in the middle of a financial battle, losing the house, losing the business. And as you know, those things in high school could be very, expensive. So I started working at the Limited. And I was so excited. I would walk literally after school there. And those paychecks, I remember that it was to pay for that. But whatever money was left over, I would give half of the leftover to my mom and the other half I would put it in these envelopes. And these envelopes were my cash to, spend now. And the other part was always to travel or whatever things I was going to do later.
You always had it in you.
Yes. I don't know. Even in high school, again, from the need, right? Because in high school, I was the girl that, was selling lollipops. I was, selling chips. Okay. But it's funny because that was like 9th grade and then 10th grade, you're like, you think you're cute. So you're like, I know, I close shop.
Right. Close shop. You can't be walking around with lollipops, right? So.
You can't do that.
That's funny.
So that's when I was like, okay, I need a job. I can't be selling lollipops and chips and you think you're cute. So I always had, some type of knowledge about money. And again, just from seeing, all my family that came here, they were entrepreneurial. I don't even think it's by choice, but it's more of the, I used to go with my mom when she cleaned offices. I used to see my aunt as she did taxes. And I think for them, it was more about you make more money actually cleaning houses and doing that than actually working, somewhere else. So I always saw, their work ethic and they were good with their money, but the money just didn't stretch enough, right? Okay. But whatever they did have, they always pour it back onto us to either go to like a local vacation or, or something like that. So I always knew the importance of money and the importance of, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you get to keep and what you do with that. I feel like whatever situation we're in, we always have to make sure that we pour back onto ourselves somehow, some way.
Yes, that's a really big deal and a big part because I know sometimes you feel like your money is going all out and then you don't have anything left for you to feel like, why am I even working?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a few seconds left. I want you to tell us a little bit more about financially savvy women, maybe when you meet, and then the importance of community.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, community is so important. You know, one of the things I love about the financially savvy women community is that women come there and network. The first hour before our event is networking. And I love how the women connect, and they've been able to get so much business out of, you know, just attending there and being aligned with these type of women, because these women are visionaries. They're women of faith. They believe in pouring into each other. You know, instead of competing with a woman, you can actually complete another woman with
Come
your
on.
gifts, right?
Yes.
So I love that, you know, our next event is actually December 20th. It's a Saturday morning, 10:30 to 1 p.m. And, you know, we're really excited about it. Like I said, it's going to be all about debt, eliminating debt and credit, because I believe that debt is like financial cancer. Right now, you know, most of their paycheck is going to their debt, and they're not able, you know, to invest. But if they learn how to eliminate that debt faster, we could start using those dollars to invest, and actually, you know, that education, they could pass it down to their kids, and you know, just talk about generational wealth impact of showing how to be better with your money. So we're excited about that event, and you know, it's a beautiful event. Everybody comes together, and you know, we just have an amazing time.
I love it. I love it. Well, we definitely would love financially savvy women as a corporate member of the Women's Chamber.
Oh, I love it.
We got to get that done.
Yes, we have to get that done. Yes.
But I'm so thankful that you came out today to spend time with me here, because you gave some really good information, life-changing information to help women be better and do better.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Karine.
No, it was my honor. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.